Hello and welcome to Frost Over the World. We begin, of course, with Libya, the no-fly zone, and its implications in particular on civilian refugees. Colonel Gaddafi had warned that if he fell, thousands of people from Libya will invade Europe. A taster of the crisis to come came this week as a boat with Tunisian migrants sank in rough seas, killing 35 people on board. With Western military action imminent, it's bound to get worse. So, how should Europe respond to this crisis? Joining me now from Valletta is the Maltese Prime Minister, Lawrence Gonzi. One overnight question, as it were. Were you pleased about the UN decision about the no-fly zones being legal and allowed? Will that help the general situation, do you think?
Yes, I hope it will. I mean, we are right next to a country which has been going through a difficult time. We're close to the people that are going through difficult circumstances. We've been insisting with everybody concerned, with the Libyan authorities in particular, that the violence needs to stop. And I'm hoping that the decision taken by the Security Council yesterday night will help for the situation to be resolved once and for all in the best interest of everyone concerned in the region.
And do you think that could happen quite quickly?
Well, that's very difficult to assess at this point in time. The situation keeps changing from moment to moment. We are in a situation now which is extremely delicate. So it's very difficult for any one of us to say whether this will actually help to sort the situation in the short term or in the long term. I'm just hoping that the humanitarian dimension of this situation needs to be addressed and resolved as quickly as possible. There are lives that are being lost there. There is a humanitarian crisis which we have been witnessing in these past weeks, and it needs to be resolved in the best interest of everybody. This is not getting anywhere. It is not benefiting anyone at all. And Malta appeals to Gaddafi and to the regime to stop this immediately. And to stop the loss of life. We need to get the region settled, and we need to give the people on the ground what they deserve. They are fighting for their rights, they want a change, and we need to help the Libyan people to achieve their ambitions and their aspirations, like anyone else who lives in a free world.
How many people from Libya do you think will be looking for a home in Europe?
That is very difficult to calculate or be specific about. I mean, the figures we know is that about 250,000 moved out of Libya into the Tunisian or Egyptian borders during the height of the crisis. And that number might include Libyans and might include people from other nationalities who are living in Libya. So it is difficult for us to calculate what the precise number will be. What we are certain about is that if the situation on the ground continues to get more difficult with loss of life and more injuries, and with the general situation getting worse, then there will be a flight of people which will definitely not only move into the Tunisian and Egyptian borders, but will continue to start to cross the Mediterranean. Now we have to look also at what has been happening in Italy and in Lampedusa, with people, Tunisians, crossing from Tunisia onto Lampedusa. So we're actually facing an unstable situation in Tunisia, the situation in Libya, and also what's happening in Egypt. This, if you add all this to what we've been living through in the past years now, Malta has been facing the flow of immigration coming from the Horn of Africa mainly, Somalia, Eritreans. People who never really wanted to come to Malta, but who ended up on our island by chance, because we saved their lives, because they were in a boat that was about to drown, because they asked for our help, and we went out to help them. And all through these years, we've been asking for support from the European Union and from the international community.
Acting together. Europe has got to act together, and you've got to hope that when you go back to your office, the phones will be ringing with prime ministers of every country in Europe ringing up and volunteering for help. Do you see this crisis and the refugee crisis as it affects Malta, do you see this situation going on, Prime Minister, for some time, or can there be a solution more quickly?
No, unfortunately, I'm not that optimistic, although I would love to be. What I can say is I think there is heightened awareness. I think the European Union realizes that there is a human tragedy which continues to grow and the danger that it will really grow to enormous proportions. In our last summit, which we had last week, the summit conclusions made it very clear that we need to take the necessary steps to prepare ourselves for this, and that support needs to be given to those countries that find themselves in difficult situations like Malta.
We thank you very much for joining us.